We're still open. And if you've ever worked in hospitality, you already know this phrase can mean two completely different things depending on where you're standing. To a guest, open usually means availability. The doors are unlocked. The lights are on. People are seated. So it feels reasonable to assume full service is still in play. To the floor, open can mean something else entirely. It can mean transition. It can mean the final stretch. It can mean you're still serving while also shutting down an entire operation in real time. Today, we're talking about what guests see when a restaurant is open, and what the floor is actually managing at the same time. Especially as closing time gets closer. This isn't about blame. It's about perspective. And if you've ever worked a shift, you've lived this. Here's what guests usually see. They see a host stand. They see tables. They see menus. They see staff moving. They see food coming out. From the outside, the system still looks fully active. So the guest experience makes sense. But what they don't see is what open can mean behind the scenes. The floor may be managing reduced staffing. The kitchen may be in the process of shutting down sections. The dishwasher may be finishing the last cycle before breakdown. The bar may already be counting. The closing side work may already be in progress. The team may already be thinking about payroll rules and labor hours. The night may already be paced around what can realistically be completed. And while all of that is happening, the guest still expects a full experience. That's the gap. That's where pressure forms. Now let's connect this to observations and experience. Most conflict in hospitality does not come from bad guests. It comes from misaligned expectations. Guests may not only react to late dining. They may react to the feeling of being pulled in two directions. One direction is service. The other direction is closure. And the person in the middle is usually the server. That's why open feels loaded. Because the floor is carrying two timelines at once. Guests often don't realize how many systems are tied to time. Here are some factors that time affects. Which stations are still fully stocked? Which cooks are still on the line? Which cleaning steps have already started? Which items are still practical to execute? Which team members are nearing the end of their shift? Whether a restaurant is able to reset for tomorrow. So when someone walks in 30 minutes before close, the guest may think, "We're still open. So we can still dine normally." But the floor may be thinking, "We are still serving. But we are also closing at the same time." And this is where the difference matters. Here's a major point that keeps this fair and balanced. If a restaurant allows seating right up until close, then technically, the guest is following the visible rules. That is true, and we can say that without undermining hospitality workers. But here's the other truth. Just because something is allowed by policy does not mean the system is set up to deliver it smoothly. That's where the strain comes from. Not from the guest. From the mismatch. This is why you see those patterns that experienced professionals recognize. Not because they dislike guests. Because they understand the operational timeline. Let's talk about what the floor is actually managing in those last moments. The floor is managing capacity. Not just physical capacity. Mental capacity. Emotional capacity. Team capacity. Because closing isn't one action. It's a sequence. A sequence like final orders, final modifications, final refires, final checks, final cash outs, final clean down, final counts, final resets. And every additional variable extends that sequence. A table move extends the sequence. A change of mind extends the sequence. A remake extends the sequence. A long linger after the meal extends the sequence. A discount request at the end extends the sequence mentally, even if it takes only seconds to answer. The floor is not just managing tasks. It is managing endings. That's the piece people outside the industry often don't see. Now let's say this clearly in a way that protects everyone. Most guests are not trying to cause stress. They are simply responding to what they can see. They see open doors and open menus. So they assume the system is fully open. But service has phases. And closing is a phase. The best hospitality experiences happen when expectations match the phase. This is where leadership and systems come in. Because the simplest fix is not emotional. It's structural. When restaurants clearly communicate, kitchen closes at this time. Last seating at this time. Dining room closes at this time. Bar closes at this time. The gap gets smaller. Confusion decreases. Pressure decreases. And the floor can deliver service with dignity and rhythm. This isn't about refusing guests. It's about clarity. There's also a human piece to this scenario. Former industry people often say things like, "I would never come in that close to closing. If I did, I would order quickly, keep it simple, and tip accordingly." Why do former servers do that? Because they understand the hidden timeline. They understand that open is not a switch. It's a process. This is exactly the kind of insider truth that helps us understand. Because servers are not asking for special treatment. They're asking for awareness. In service environments, research consistently shows that expectation clarity improves satisfaction for both sides. When people know what to expect, they are less likely to feel disappointed. And when staff know what they are expected to deliver, performance pressure becomes more manageable. Unclear expectations don't just create frustration. They create emotional labor because the floor has to bridge the gap politely with a smile in real time. That is a skill. And it deserves to be named respectfully. Now let's bring it back to you. If you've ever been on the floor during closing time, you already know the feeling. You are still serving. But you are also closing. And you are trying to do both without letting the guest feel rushed or unwelcome. That is the work. And it's not always visible. But it is real. If this resonates, I want to hear from you in the comments. When the restaurant was still open, what was the floor actually managing at the same time? Was it reduced staffing? Kitchen shutdown? Side work already in motion? Managers pushing last seating? Guests lingering long after the meal? Or the mental pressure of trying to deliver excellence while winding down? Share what open really meant where you worked. Read a few comments too and share which country you are from. Because you'll quickly realize how shared this experience is across restaurants, cities, and countries. If you've ever worked a shift, this space is for you. Thanks for watching in. Welcome to the server section.